The air was thick with the scent of blood and burning ruin. The ground trembled beneath the weight of destruction. The skies above darkened by storm and smoke. Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta, stood atop a jagged cliffside, his crimson tattoo glowing under the pale moonlight. The Leviathan axe gleamed in his grip, pulsing with the icy magic of Jotunheim. His breath was steady, but his mind burned with questions. A portal had ripped open in the heart of Midgard, crackling with a foreign energy he did not recognize. It was no work of the gods he had known, not of Olympus nor Asgard. Something else had torn through the very fabric of reality, and from within the swirling vortex of light and chaos, a figure emerged. A giant. No, not just a giant. A force of nature, wrapped in flesh and fury. The creature's skin was a sickly shade of green, its body rippling with a grotesque amount of muscle, every sinew packed with an unfathomable force. Its eyes, a deep shade of rage, burned into Kratos like an animal on the hunt. Each footstep cracked the ground beneath him, the sheer weight of his existence enough to break the earth. The Hulk had arrived. Kratos narrowed his eyes. He had fought titans, gods, and monsters beyond mortal comprehension. Yet, something about this being felt different. It was raw, uncontained, and without an ounce of reason. A beast fueled by wrath, familiar yet foreign. You! The Hulk's voice was low, guttural. Where is he? Where did you send him? Kratos remained still, gripping the axe tighter. I do not know you, beast. The Hulk's nostrils flared. His breaths were deep, labored. Liar, he stomped forward, the ground exploding beneath him. You took him. You took Banner. Kratos tilted his head, only now understanding. This thing, this monster, was searching for something. Someone. The name meant nothing to him. Yet it was clear that the creature was beyond reason. Hulk was not merely searching. He was hunting. Kratos had seen this kind of madness before. He had lived it. I took nothing from you, Kratos said evenly. But I see that you will not listen. The Hulk's breathing grew heavier, his fists tightening into trembling balls of fury. Then, boom! With a roar that shattered the skies, Hulk launched himself forward. Kratos barely had time to brace before a fist the size of a boulder swung toward him. Instinct took over. He raised the Leviathan axe, intercepting the blow just as the ground beneath him shattered. The sheer impact sent a shockwave through the valley, uprooting trees and sending massive chunks of stone flying. Kratos skidded backward, his feet carving deep trenches into the earth. His arms trembled from the force. It had been centuries since someone had hit him this hard. The Hulk was already upon him again. This time, he swung both fists downward in a hammer strike. Kratos rolled aside, barely avoiding the attack as the ground collapsed under the force, forming a deep crater where he once stood. Dust and debris shot into the sky, blotting out the moon. The Spartan growled. He would not be battered like prey. With a flick of his wrist, he summoned the blades of chaos, the burning chains wrapping around his forearms. He lunged. Hulk caught the attack. A hand, massive and unrelenting, clamped around Kratos' wrist mid-swing. The Ghost of Sparta's eyes widened just before he was lifted and slammed into the ground with a force that cracked the very foundation of the world. Boom! Kratos grunted in pain but reacted instantly, swinging a boot up into Hulk's chin, forcing the green behemoth to stagger back. Without missing a beat, Kratos flipped onto his feet, gripping the blades of chaos tightly. He had underestimated this creature. That would not happen again. The Hulk wiped his chin, his rage mounting. His breathing had already deepened, his skin darkening with an even deeper shade of green. Kratos had faced gods before. He had slain the rulers of Olympus and stood against the fury of the Aesir. But this was different. Hulk was no god. He was something far more dangerous. And if Kratos wanted to survive, he would have to kill this monster before it became unstoppable. The Ghost of Sparta crouched, his blades alight with fire. The Hulk let out another monstrous roar, his fist trembling with unrelenting might. The battle had only begun. The wind howled through the broken valley, carrying the echoes of battle. The ground was fractured, massive craters marking where godly force had met unstoppable rage. The combatants stood across from each other, their bodies tense with anticipation. Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta, and Hulk, the unstoppable force of destruction. Kratos' grip tightened around the blades of chaos, their fiery chains rattling in the night air. His muscles burned, his body already feeling the strain of trading blows with this beast. Hulk was unlike anything he had fought before. Not a god, not a titan, not a man, just pure, unrelenting power. Hulk breathed heavily, his green skin darkened with growing rage. His fists trembled with energy, his eyes burning with a fury that seemed limitless. His mind was lost in battle. There was no reason now, no restraint, only anger. Then, without warning, Hulk charged. Kratos swung his blades forward, their chains snapping through the air like lightning. The fiery metal wrapped around Hulk's arm, burning deep into his skin. Hulk ignored the pain. With a single jerk, he yanked Kratos toward him, dragging the Ghost of Sparta across the ground. Kratos barely had time to react before a massive fist collided with his chest. Boom! Kratos was launched backward, his body tearing through boulders and trees like paper. His back slammed against a mountain, sending cracks racing up its surface. Blood dripped from his lips, but he did not hesitate. He flipped off the rock, summoning the Leviathan axe into his grasp. With inhuman precision, he hurled it at the green giant's skull. Tum! The axe slammed into Hulk's forehead, burying deep into his flesh. Ice spread from the wound, frost creeping along his skin. For a moment, there was silence. Then, Hulk roared with a furious groan. He ripped the axe from his skull, tossing it aside like a discarded toy. His wound healed instantly, flesh sealing over the injury as if it had never happened. His strength was growing. His rage was rising. Kratos felt a rare sensation creeping into his bones. Doubt. Can this beast be slain? Hulk's feet dug into the earth, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Kratos. His fist, now charged with the fury of gods and monsters alike, swung forward. Kratos barely raised his arms before the impact came. Crack! The Spartan's bones shattered. His vision exploded into darkness as he was sent flying across the battlefield. His body tore through the land, carving a deep trench in his wake. Blood spilled from his mouth, his ribs broken, his limbs numb. Kratos tried to move. His fingers twitched, his breath came ragged. But before he could rise, Hulk was upon him. The monster grabbed Kratos by the head, lifting him like a broken doll. His grip was like a vice, his rage an endless storm. Hulk, strongest, there is. And then he slammed Kratos into the ground. Again, and again, and again. Boom, boom, boom. The earth trembled beneath the force, craters forming with each devastating impact. Kratos' body cracked and twisted, his divine durability failing him. His vision blurred, darkness creeping in. He had survived gods, titans, realms beyond death itself. But never this. Hulk let out a final roar, lifting Kratos high in the air. Then, with one colossal swing, he sent the Spartan soaring through the sky, his broken form vanishing into the distant horizon. For a long moment, silence ruled the battlefield. The dust settled, the echoes of destruction fading into the cold wind. The Hulk stood alone, his chest rising and falling with deep, primal breaths. His fists remained clenched, his body trembling with lingering rage. Kratos was gone, And for the first time in his life, the Ghost of Sparta had lost.